Namaste everyone. Welcome to NEET JEE Mains class. We were in thermal properties of matter, that chapter. So 34th problem is over. We are in the 35th problem. Shall we move? Right. Welcome to the class. So we are in the 35th problem now. An ideal gas at 27 degrees Celsius is compressed adiabatically to 8 times its original volume. Then the fall in temperature. So again, what is your job here? Find out what is the process first. Adiabatic is given, and what are the variables? Temperature and volume. That is Tv to the power gamma minus 1 is a constant. T1 V1 to the power gamma minus 1. T2 V2 to the power gamma minus 1. They must be equal. T1 300. V1 8 times, right? So V and this is V to the power gamma minus 1. V to the power gamma minus 1 is 5 by 3 minus 1. 5 by 3 minus 1 is equal to T2 fall in temperature is. So they are asking you the fall in temperature, correct? Yeah, T2, we don't know what is T2. V2 is 8 times the volume to the power gamma minus 1, 5 by 3 minus 1. Yeah, what is the answer? Not have chalk? Yeah, right. 300, not this one. We have to have chalk here. 1 minute. V to the power 5 by 3 minus 1, that is 2 by 3. 2 by 3 is equal to T2. This is 8 to the power 2 by 3 and V to the power 2 by 3. This is 5 by 3 minus 1, that is 2 by 3. This gets cancelled, and this is cube root of 2 and square 4. 300 by 4 is equal to T2. So this is 4. Cube root of 8 is 2 and square 4. Yes. What is this? This is equal to 75 Kelvin. But answer is, then the fall in temperature is, fall in temperature they are asking you. This is the new temperature, right? New temperature. Fall is from 300 to 75, that is 225 Kelvin. That is the fall in temperature, not this dot, right? This is wrongly mentioned now. Now it is 225 Kelvin. Okay, we'll move on. An ideal gas is at 1 atmospheric pressure and has a volume V. If the gas expands isothermally to volume 16 V, then the new pressure is. An ideal gas is at 1 atmospheric pressure and it has a volume V, okay? And if the gas expands isothermally to volume 16 V, then the new pressure is. Volume is inversely proportional to pressure. If volume increases 16 times, then the pressure should go to a factor of 1 by 16 times, right? So 1 atmosphere to 1 by 16 atmosphere. Directly you can answer it. You can write the equation P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2 also. 37. A monoatomic gas has atmospheric pressure and has a volume V. Now the gas is expanded adiabatically to volume V. So pressure and volume, right? Adiabatically to volume 8V. If the ratio of specific heats is 5 by 3, then the new pressure after expansion is PV to the power gamma is a constant. PV to the power gamma is a constant, right? P1 V1 to the power gamma, P2 V2 to the power gamma, same, has a pressure, has atmospheric pressure, okay, 1 atmosphere. Then volume, initial volume is V to the power 5 by 3, and new pressure to be answered, new volume is 8V to the power 5 by 3. Okay. V to the power 5 by 3 is equal to P2, 8 to the power 5 by 3 and V to the power 5 by 3. Gets cancelled. What is P2? P2 is 1 by 8 to the power 5 by 3, that is equal to 1 by cube root of 8 is 2 to the power 5 is 632. 1 by 32 times the first atmospheric pressure, that is 1 atmospheric pressure. Okay, next 38. The air at 27 degrees Celsius is pumped into a tire to a pressure of 8 atmosphere. Okay, air is pumped into a tire at 27 degrees Celsius at 8 atmosphere. If the tire bursts, what will be the final temperature? Okay. Bursting of a gas-filled rubber tube, that is adiabatic process. PV to the power gamma is a constant. TV to the power gamma minus 1, right? TV to the power gamma. Temperature and volume, correct? No. Temperature and pressure, yes. T1, P1 to the power 1 minus gamma by gamma. T2, P2 to the power 1 minus gamma by gamma is a constant. Tp to the power 1 minus gamma by gamma is a constant. T1, 300, 27 degrees Celsius. P1, 8 atmospheric pressure to the power gamma minus 1 minus 0.5, that means minus half, I can write. 1 minus 1.5 by 1.5 is equal to T2. What is the final temperature? Second pressure, 1 atmosphere, whatever be this one, that is 1, right? Whatever is the value in the power of 1, the answer is 1. So T1, P1 to the power 1 minus gamma by gamma, T2, P2 to the power 1 minus gamma by gamma. So what is the second temperature? T2 is equal to 300 to the power into 8 to the power. This is 0.5 minus 0.5 by 1.5. This one minus 0.5, that is minus 1 by 3. So 300 divided by 8 to the power 1 by 3 is T2. This is 2. 300 by 2, 150 Kelvin. Yes, that is the answer, both one. Right. The specific heats of gases are 14,434 joule per kg per Kelvin, and at constant pressure and at constant volume is given. Then what is that gas is, right? So you know that ratio of specific heat CP by CV is gamma. Gamma is almost CP is 14,434 divided by 10,310, and that comes to almost 1.44, right? 1.4 something, because it is almost 10,000. This is 14,000. 1.4. 1.4 is for diatomic gas. We are going to study about the different gamma values in thermodynamics. That we will do. And so it's diatomic gas. Now I think we have two vessels A and B contain oxygen, right? Both contain oxygen. Two vessels A and B contain oxygen. The volume of B is twice that of A. Okay, we will write it. So both contain oxygen. Two vessels A and B both contain oxygen. Volume of B is twice that of A. So we will take, this is volume twice that of A. The pressure of B is twice that of A. We will assume for A twice that of A. Pressure of B is twice that of A. And the temperature of B is half that of A. Temperature half. The ratio of the number of molecules in the number of molecules of oxygen in A and B is. Of course, you can write PV equal to nRT. PV is equal to nRT. First one, yeah, same equation, 1. This is for A, right? Na, number of molecules in A. What about the number of molecules in B? In B is twice the pressure, twice the volume. Number of molecules in B are half the temperature. Divide this one. The ratio of number of molecules of oxygen in A and B. Yes, A and B. Divide it. So PV by 2PR. This is 1 by 4. PV gets cancelled, is equal to Na by Nb. And here you have by 2. That is equal to, this 2 comes here and here. So what is Na by Nb? 1 is to 8. Not getting. Where did we go wrong then? PV equal to mu RT. Two vessels A and B contain oxygen. The volume of B is twice that of A, and pressure of B is thrice that of A. Oh, pressure of B is thrice that of A. Pressure of B is thrice that of A, and the temperature of B is half that of A. So this is 3P, and this is 1 by 6. Correct? This is 6, and this 2 comes here. 1 by 12 you have. So Na by Nb, number of molecules in A to the number of molecules in B ratio, So this 2 here and here is equal to 1 by 12. This is the answer. Second one. Okay. 41. Yeah, thermal conductivity. Yeah. So any conductor will transfer heat energy in 2 ways. One may be radiation and another may be conduction. What is conduction? The process of transmission of heat from one place to another in conductors without the motion of the molecules, just by the vibration. They transfer the vibration and transfer the energy. So transfer of energy from one particle to another particle, that heat energy is called conduction. It especially happens in solids. And suppose you take a rod like this, say area of cross section is A, and Q is the amount of heat energy flowing through conduction. I am not talking about radiation now. So a small amount of heat energy may be radiated also, but this is the amount of heat energy flowing through conduction. Let L be the length of the rod. Then what is the amount of heat energy flowing per second? H. Heat energy flowing per second is equal to the thermal conductivity of that material, area of cross section, and temperature difference between the ends, theta 1 and theta 2. Say this is more and this is less. Heat energy always flows from a higher temperature point to the lower temperature point. So theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by the length. So heat energy flowing per second, this is rate of flow. This is rate of heat flow. That means heat energy flowing per second. This is rate of heat flow, whereas heat energy flowing total must be given as Ka theta 1 minus theta 2 by L into time, you have to write, because this is Q by T. This is just Q by T, amount of heat energy flowing per second. So if you want Q is equal to into T. So this is the formula, you know about this formula very well, where K is a coefficient of thermal conductivity. More K means more is flow of, or faster will be the flow of heat energy, and it conducts very heavily. Lesser K means it is a bad conductor of heat. You know all its consequences. Wood is a bad conductor of heat. That's why it is used to pack sawdust. It is used to pack ice. Sawdust is used to pack ice, and aluminum is a good conductor. Copper is a good conductor of heat. That's why vessels are given copper bottom, and all the things you know about it. Now this K is a thermal conductivity. Do you remember that electrical conductivity? In electronics, that is flow of current, the charges will flow, and charges will flow only when there is a potential difference between the ends of the rod. Heat energy flows only when there is a temperature difference between the ends of the rod. So you can write it like this. See, here it is thermal conductivity is given. You can define another term called thermal resistance. What do you mean by thermal resistance? Thermal resistance is equal to the reciprocal of thermal conductivity. Conductivity and resistances are reciprocals of each other. More the resistance, lesser will be the conductivity. More the conductivity, lesser will be the resistance. Opposition to the flow of heat. And another thing is here, this theta 1 minus theta 2 by L. This is called temperature gradient. What do you mean by temperature gradient? The difference of temperature per unit distance. Per unit distance. Per unit distance, per unit length, what is the temperature difference? That is called temperature gradient. Remember, temperature gradient is always constant. At steady state, what do you mean by steady state? Steady state is the condition where when you go on heating the rod from one end, of course you have to heat it from one end. It is heated only here, not throughout. The heat energy starts flowing from hot end to the cold end. After some time, some amount of heat energy is conducted to maintain the temperatures, and rest of the heat energy is radiated. And you will find that there is no change in these temperatures at all. Theta 1 will be, say, if it is 100 degrees Celsius, and theta 2 is, say, it is at 30 degrees Celsius. This will be at 100 only, this will be at 30 only. There won't be any increase in the temperature found at any point. But as you go from hot end to the cold, this other end, the temperature will be lesser and lesser and lesser to the other end. The point where you are heating the material, it will be very hot. At the other end, it will not be so much hot. And the temperature will be decreasing with distance, and that change in temperature per unit distance is called temperature gradient. And if you find out theta 1 minus theta 2 at any shorter distance, you will get lesser difference. And if you find it at a larger distance, difference is more and distance is more. So temperature gradient is always a constant at steady state. The state where heat is conducted and remaining is radiated, and temperature at all the points of the conductor doesn't change with time. Okay, now, so every material will have its own thermal conductivity. Similarly, it will have thermal resistivity. R is equal to thermal resistance, R equal to 1 by K. Now, we have some formulas in our current electricity. Current through a conductor, Ohm's law, is potential difference divided by resistance, right? Current through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference between the ends, or V is proportional to I or V equal to IR, that's what we write, or I equal to V by R. Similarly, what is I here? Rate of flow of charges, dQ by dt, that is V by R, right? Now, similarly, can't you apply the same case here? So if you want the electrons to flow in a particular direction, you have to apply a potential difference. That potential difference is written like this. Here, if you want the heat energy to flow from one point to another, you must maintain the temperature difference between the ends of the rod. So why can't I write the amount of heat energy flowing per second, that is what is H, this one, dQ by dt, rate of flow of heat, amount of heat energy flowing per second, is equal to, you can write it as the temperature difference between the ends divided by the resistance, thermal resistance, this resistance, or temperature difference into conductivity, that's all you can write, right? So, the rate of flow of heat energy is temperature difference divided by resistance. So you can apply all the rules. You have here the electrical resistance, rho L by A. Here you can write thermal resistance, same rho L by A, where here length of the rod, area of cross section of the rod, rho is called resistivity, it is electrical resistivity. You can see this, I think, yeah, right. And what about here? Thermal resistance is directly proportional to the thermal resistivity, length and area. Area inversely proportional. Okay. You can write it as L by A, 1 by K. What is 1 by K? It is reciprocal of resistivity is called conductivity. Okay. Actually, it is resistivity, right? Rho is 1 by K. So thermal resistance R is equal to rho L by A. This is resistivity. Resistivity is reciprocal of conductivity, and thermal resistance is rho L by A. But here rho is not electrical resistivity; it is thermal resistivity, which can be written as reciprocal of conductivity. So you can use this formula also. And you know, when two conductors are connected together, the resistance will be double the resistance. Correct? R is equal to R1 plus R2. Not double; it gets added. And when the two conductors are connected in parallel, the equivalent resistance is R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. You can use the same case for resistance also here, but not for conductivity. Conductivity becomes the other way. Okay, so when two conductors are connected in series, resistance increases. When they are connected in parallel, resistance decreases. Ulta will be the case of conductivity. Okay, you can use all your concepts here, right? We will see some of the applications here. For example, one I remember now, and you can apply it here also. What is that concept? Suppose four conductors are connected together like this in the form of a Wheatstone's bridge. Say all have thermal conductivities K1, K2, K3, K4 like this. Of course, if you name it like this, and if you connect one more identical conductor like this here, and if you maintain a temperature difference T1, theta 1, theta 2, there you maintain a potential difference by connecting a battery. No heat will flow through this. No heat will flow through this, provided it is balanced. No current will flow through that resistor in the Wheatstone's bridge, provided the bridge is balanced, where this side by side, right, K1 by K2 is equal to K3 by K4 or R1 by R2, but ratio remains the same. Even though resistivity and conductivity are reciprocal of each other, ratio will be the same. K1 by K2 must be equal to K3 by K4. The bridge is balanced. If the thermal conductivity of this 1 and 2 ratio, 3 and 4 ratio, or this one, not opposite like this, opposite multiplication actually. So if they are equal, then no heat will flow to the rod which is connected here, because this and this will be at the same temperature. Whereas in the Wheatstone's bridge, balanced Wheatstone's bridge, this and this will be at the same potential. Here they are at the same temperature. That's why no heat will flow through this. That is the balancing. So you can apply that principle also here. Okay, you have such problems. Okay, now we will move on to some problems in thermal conductivity. So you can refresh all the problems worked out in current electricity while comparing it with this one. Okay, we have to open this. Yeah, we are in the previous problem. Yes, thermal conductivity. 3 rods made up of the same material and having same cross-sectional area have been joined as shown. Okay. They are joined like this. So there are 3 rods of same cross-sectional area and 0 degrees Celsius, 90 degrees Celsius and 90 degrees Celsius. Okay. So heat energy must flow in this direction. Like this say Q1, like this say Q2 and like this say Q3. Q3 should be the sum of Q1 and Q2 because heat energy should add up and should move because it should move from higher to lower temperature. Have been joined as shown in the figure. Each rod is of same length. So length, area of cross section, everything is same, identical. The left and the right ends are kept at 0 and 90 degree. The temperature of the junction is theta, say. Theta should be lesser than 90 but greater than 0. That should be the case. Okay, the temperature of the junction will be. Now, shall I write a formula like this? Q1 plus Q2 must be equal to Q3. Right? Now you know Q is equal to amount of heat energy flowing per second. So I didn't write H. Actually it is per second because everything is in a system. Even though this rod are different rods, they are combined to form a system and heated together. So time is common for all the 3. So Q is Ka theta 1 minus theta 2. Of course T if I want to write, then by R. So these things they get cancelled, isn't it? Everywhere you have to write. So what are the things remaining then? Q1, what is the heat energy flowing through this rod from here to here? K, and K is also same for all because all the identical rods, 3 rods made up of the same material. So when they are made up of the same material, you need not worry about K. That also gets cancelled. So for Q1, K, A, theta 1 minus theta 2. 90 minus theta. Okay. Ka theta 1 minus theta 2 into T by L. Those things are constant because everywhere they get cancelled. Then Q2 is from here to here. It's Ka theta 1 minus theta 2, 90 higher, theta lower, divided by L is equal to Q3. Ka, it's A, it's K, everything same as this one. Theta minus 0, that is the only thing where you have to be careful because 0 is less, theta will be more. Heat energy flows from higher to lower temperature by L, right, that's all. So what you have to do now? 90 minus theta equal to theta minus 0. 90 plus 90, 180 minus 2 theta is equal to theta. 180 is equal to 3 theta. Theta is equal to 180 by 3, 60. This is how you can work out. You can have a similar problem in current electricity also. 3 resistors are joined like this. Potential here is 9 volt, potential here is 9 volt and potential here is say some 3 volt, something like this. May not be 0 volt. Okay, maybe 0 volt also. Now current should move from higher to lower potential. What is the potential here? That is the question. Suppose all the resistors are same. What you can write? Current flowing through this, current flowing through this, current flowing through this. If you take it as I2 and I1 and I3, you can write I1 plus I2 must be equal to I3. Hope you can see this, whatever is written here. Yes. And what is the next step? I1 can be written as potential difference divided by resistance, right? So if all the resistances are same, I equal to V by R. So I1 is 9 minus V divided by R plus I2, 9 minus V divided by R must be equal to, if this is also R, or if resistance is given, you can substitute the values. Then this is V minus 3 divided by R. You can compare it and you can find out the answer. So here is the current flowing, rate of flow of charges. It is the rate of flow of heat here. So identical problem. Okay. Right. 42. Yes. Two identical rods A and B of different materials are welded together. Okay. So they are shown how they are welded together. Okay. Right. Two identical rods. Rods are identical. Means area, length, and everything may be same. Two identical rods A and B of different materials are welded together as shown. If the thermal conductivities of the rods are K1 and K2, then the thermal conductivity of the composite system rod. That means if two resistances are connected in parallel, what is the equivalent resistance? You know that R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. But resistivity is different. Resistivity may not be the same. Identical may not be the same answer, same formula. See, we will do that. Suppose there are two rods, okay, of identical, say area of cross section. Thermal conductivity K1, K2. I name the rods as A and B, but their area of cross section are same. Length is same for both. Now, if you want to replace it by a composite rod, single rod, it should have double the area. If two pipes carrying water has to be replaced by a single pipe in parallel, by a single pipe after replacing those parallel pipes, that single pipe must have double the area of or the additional area of those two individual pipes. So this should be 2A, but length can be same, no problem. And what is the K value of this? That's what I would want to see. And they have to be maintained as the same temperature difference T1 and T2. Whatever the water flows through this, this must be able to take the full water alone. So the heat energy flowing through this must be taken by this one. So Q must be equal to Q1 plus Q2. What is Q? Q for this one is K, its area, temperature difference divided by length, must be equal to, what is the heat energy taken by this one? K1, that is Q1 I am writing, K1, its area, its single one, area, and temperature difference divided by its length, plus, I don't have space, I'll write it here, K2, area, this one, heat energy taken by this per second, its temperature difference, same for all, divided by L. Now you see, area, temperature difference by L, area, temperature difference by L. In the previous problem we didn't write it at all. So because it was so simple, yes, this gets cancelled. So what is remaining then? K is equal to 2K is equal to K1 plus K2. What is the K then? K is equal to K1 plus K2 divided by 2. That is the thermal conductivity of the composite rod. That should be the thermal conductivity of that single rod, which will carry the same amount of heat as these individual rods are connected. It should be an equivalent rod. It cannot be anything other rod. So if it has to be an equivalent rod, equivalent thermal conductor, then its thermal conductivity should be K1 plus K2 by 2. Okay, now one more thing here has to be taken into account, that is the resistance. You can do the same thing for resistivity also, right? Suppose you have two rods connected in parallel like this. Same problem can be continued. Resistance R1 and R2, right? Resistivity ρ1 and ρ2. What is the resistivity of the equivalent rod like this? So what I can do? Same thing can be followed. If R is the resistance of the equivalent rod, and of course, resistance and conductivity, right? Yeah, resistance of the equivalent rod is R is equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So R equivalent is equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Then what is R equivalent? R equivalent is rho, resistivity of the equivalent rod, rho, L same by 2A, correct? Rho equivalent L by 2A, that is equal to R1 is rho 1 L by A, correct? R2, rho 2 L by A divided by R1 plus R2, rho 1 L by A plus rho 2 L by A. Did you get that? resistance of this one is rho 1 L by A, resistance of this is rho 2 L by A, and resistance of the equivalent rod must be rho L same but A double. So what will be the effect now? If you solve this rho equivalent, I think you get the same answer by 2A, that is equal to here rho equivalent is equal to, right, here you can take rho 1 L by A, L by A common, and here 1 L by A gets cancelled, right? Shall I write it here? Rho 1 L by A gets cancelled with this taken common, 1 L by A remains, that gets cancelled with this L by A. So rho 1 rho 2 divided by rho 1 rho 2 divided by rho 1 plus rho 2, that is the equivalent resistivity, and 1 L by A remains here, that gets cancelled with this one. So rho equivalent is 2 rho 1 rho 2 divided by rho 1 plus rho 2. That's how we can write resistivity, right? So here it is K1 plus K2 by 2, conductivity. Okay, right. So all the similar patterns you can carry on with the current electricity, right? 43. 3 metal rods ABC of the same length and cross-sectional area, same cross-sectional area, are joined in series as shown in the figure. Okay, we have a diagram which you can replace it here. There are 3 rods of same length and same cross-sectional area A, B, C, and their temperatures are written 100 degrees Celsius, 35 degrees Celsius, and here it is written X and Y. Their thermal conductivities are in the ratio 2:4:3. So how will we name that 2:4? So I will take this as K, 2K, 3K, 4K, 3K. Very easy. And all the K's will get cancelled. So their conductivities are in the ratio 2:4:3. In the steady state, the temperature is X degrees Celsius and Y degrees Celsius here at the junction. Then what are their values? Yes, what is the value of this one? Now, since the metal rods are in series, whatever the heat energy flows through A must flow through B, must flow through C. When the resistances are in series, whatever the current flows through the first rod must flow to the, first resistor, maybe rod, it must flow to the second resistor, third resistor. Current is same. Heat energy flowing per second is same. Charges flowing per second is same. That is current. That means Q1 must be equal to Q2 must be equal to Q3. Now, do I need to write all the values Ka, T1 minus T2 by, okay, I'll write H per second by L. L need not be written, A need not be written, only K and temperature difference are enough because they get cancelled. K, T1 minus T2, 100 minus X must be equal to K, 4K. X minus Y is equal to 3K, Y minus 35. Now we will take these two. When we take these two, 2 2s are, and KK gets cancelled. What will remain here? 100 minus X is equal to 100 minus X is equal to 2X minus 2Y. 2X minus 2Y. This 2X comes here plus, or you can take this X here. 100 is equal to 3X minus 2Y. So 3X minus 2Y is equal to 100. One equation. Okay. 3X minus 2Y is equal to 100. 3X minus, yes. What about here? Compare this and this. And you take this as 4K only because this 4 is divided to 2 here, not here. 4 only. KK can be cancelled. 4X minus 4Y. 4X minus 4Y. 3Y minus 70. Not 70 this. 105. Right? 3X, 4X minus 4Y is equal to 3Y minus 105. Yeah. 4X minus 7Y is equal to minus 105 over, but you have to compare it with this equation. This is equation 2. You have here 3X, here you have 4X. So multiply this equation by this equation by 3, multiply by 3. 12x minus 21y is equal to 15, 1, 3 minus. Multiply this equation by 4. 12x minus 6y, minus 8y. 12x minus 8y is equal to 400. Alright, 12x minus 8y is equal to 400. Now can you subtract these two equations? If you subtract the equations, what you will get? I'll go like this. 12x minus 12x, 0. Minus 8y plus 21y. Minus 8y plus 21y. Minus 8y plus 21y. That is minus 13y, right? Plus 13y. 13y minus 8y plus 21. 21 plus, yes, 13y is equal to, what is this? 715. So that implies y is equal to 715 divided by 13. So y should be a multiple of 5, right? Y should be, all are multiple of 5. 25, 35, 55, 35. Okay, you see, this is almost, suppose it is 13. 13 into 25, can it be 715? No, I think. 25 10s are 250. 25 2s are itself, 20s are itself is 500. So 13s are cannot be 715. 35 10s are 350. 35 2s are 35 20s are is 700. Not possible. This is possible. 55. 13 into 15. Did you understand what did I do here? 13 so many times should be 715. Is it 35 times, 25 times? Not possible, because 35 20 times itself is 700. 25 20 times itself is 500. It's not 700. So 55 is possible, I think. 15, 6, 15, 6, 5, 11, yes, possible. So y is 7, 7. I think this is the answer. Substitute y somewhere else, and so here in any one of the equation you will get x. Yes, little bit lengthy. Mathematical steps are a little bit lengthy. 44. 3 rods of identical cross-sectional area and made up of the same material. We'll rub this. So there are 3 rods. You see, they are connected in the form of a triangle. 3 rods of 3 rods, identical rods of uniform cross-sectional area, and made up of the same metal from the sides of an isosceles triangle as shown. Isosceles right angle triangle. Here is A, and here is B, and here is C. The 3 identical rods, identical cross-sectional area, sorry. That means their lengths need not be same. Cross-sectional area is only the same. They form right angle isosceles triangle. And the points A, B, C are maintained at temperatures. A and B are maintained at temperatures T and root 2T. Yes, this is at higher temperature. B is at higher temperature because this is 1.4140 respectively. In the steady state, assuming that only heat conduction takes place, the temperature at point C will be. What is theta here? That is the question. Now, it is as if, you see, it is heated here with the maintaining higher temperature. It is not, it is maintained at a temperature lower here. So heat energy must flow through this rod like this, isn't it? Because this is at higher temperature, maintained always at higher temperature. This is always maintained at lower temperature. So heat energy must flow from B to A. What about the other end? It is very similar to connecting a resistance wire, 3 resistors connected like this. Now connect a battery here. What is the meaning of connecting a battery? You are maintaining a higher potential here, you are maintaining a lower potential here. Current flows from higher to lower potential, so there will be a flow of current like this here. What about in this? There should be a flow of current like this. These two become series now, because these two ends are connected to the battery, so they become series. Whatever the current flows through this, same current should flow through this. Now here, since this is at higher temperature, whatever the heat energy flows through this per second, the same heat energy must flow through this, because they are in series. So if I take this Q1 and Q2, then Q1 must be equal to Q2. That's all the thing needed for here. So our discussion, very simple. So since these two ends are maintained at same temperature, different temperatures, heat energy must flow between these 2 points. This is at higher temperature, this is at lower temperature. So heat must flow through like this. What about the other end? They are in series like this, because we are not maintaining any temperature here. It is automatically maintained. So this should be lower than this, but higher than this. So heat must flow like this. So taking this as the discussion now, main discussion. The heat energy flowing through these two rods is same since they are in series. Since the temperatures are maintained here by heating them. We don't heat it here. We don't heat it here. Heating is maintained here. So if Q1 is equal to Q2, heat energy flowing through this and this are same. You know the formula for Q. Q is equal to Ka T1 minus T2 into by L. K is same for both. Area of cross section is same. Everything is given. So this is the only factor which has to be considered. Am I right? Now Q1 must be equal to Q2. If this is written here, what is Q1? Q1 is from here to here, right? That is temperature difference. And L has to be considered. Why? If this is L, isosceles right angle triangle, this is root to L. That has to be taken into account. Length of the rods are not the same. If it is so, what is Q1? Q1 is T1 minus T2, root 2T minus theta divided by L. What about the same heat energy flowing to the other end of the rod? Here, it is T1 minus T2, that is theta minus T from here to here, theta minus T divided by root 2L. Is it okay? Now, what I can cancel? L can be cancelled. What I can bring here? Root 2 here. Multiplied. Root 2 into root 2, what is that? 2T, root 2 into root 2, minus root 2 theta here is equal to theta minus T. Shall I write it somewhere here? Yeah. Bring this T here. 2T plus T. I'll write it here. 2T plus T is equal to, and minus root 2 theta, I will bring it to the other side. Theta plus root 2 theta. Am I right? 2T plus T, theta plus root 2 theta. We want theta. So this is 3T divided by, I think, or I will write it one more step. 3T must be equal to theta into 1 plus root 2. What is theta? 3T divided by 1 plus root 2 is equal to theta. We have 3T divided by root 2 plus 1, that is theta. So the main logic is the same as what we have in current electricity. The temperature maintained points, potential difference maintained points. And when the current, these two are in series, current same. Here these two are in series, the flow of charges per second is same. That is the thing. And we will solve one more problem. It is getting darker and darker. I don't know whether light is enough or not. One more problem we will solve. What is the rate of flow of heat through a tapering rod of length L, tapering from radius R1 to R2 when the temperature of the ends are theta 1 and theta 2 degrees Celsius, and coefficient of thermal conductivity is K. Yes. Hope you can see whatever is written here. If it is too less light, my camera switches on a bulb, but it has not done it, so I think I can continue. Right. What is the rate of flow of heat through a tapering rod of length L? So I have a tapering rod, it's like this. Or I can take in a ulta way also. Okay, I will take it like this, tapering to the left hand side. There is a rod like this. How to write the coefficient of thermal conductivity for this one? Of course, not the coefficient of thermal conductivity, rate of flow of heat energy formula. How can I write it for this one? Can I write Q is equal to T1 minus T2? Because A is not the same everywhere, right? Area of cross section is not the same. What is the rate of flow of heat through a tapering rod of length L? Okay, tapering from the radius R1, so I will divide it here. Okay, it is not a correct division. Yeah, I will put it somewhere. Yeah, R1 to R2, radius R1 to R2. Temperatures maintained are theta 1, theta 2. Coefficient of thermal conductivity has nothing to do with the tapering, right? because it is for the material, so K is a constant. Okay, now how to write the rate of heat flow? Here we have to take one thing, that is rate of flow of charges is called current, which is potential difference by resistance. Here I have to take rate of flow of heat is equal to temperature difference divided by thermal resistance. I have to find out the thermal resistance of this. Here it is the potential difference divided by electrical resistance. Here the temperature difference, of course, theta 1 minus theta 2. Temperature difference divided by thermal resistance. How to find out the thermal resistance for such a material whose area of cross section is not the same? Even the electrical resistance sometimes, it is not so easy. So how to find out the thermal resistance? I will take a small piece of this conductor, say like this, whose thickness is dx at a distance x from the one end. I will cut it, and when I cut it like this, I will get a small coin-like arrangement, and whose radius is different, right? This radius is different. Now if I go on extend it like this, it will have an extra radius than R1. I will call it as dr. If this much of size of coin is kept here, it will have an extra radius. Extra than R1, it will have some radius. See, R2 is greater than R1. Now how to find out that extra dr? Extra dr radius can be found out like this. Because if I want to write the equation for resistance, R is equal to resistivity by L by A. Thermal resistance R can be written as, this is thermal resistivity, which can be written as thermal conductivity K. Thermal resistance is equal to length by thermal conductivity into A. So even you can write rho as 1 by sigma. Sigma is called conductivity. In such a way you can solve this problem. Okay, so where we are now? Yeah. What is the resistance of this coin-like arrangement kept here? Sorry, not resistance, it's radius. The extra radius, you see, when we move through a distance L, the radius changes by R2 minus R1. That radius becomes R2. What is the difference? R2 minus R1. So this is the extra change. When you move through a distance X, what is the increase? When you move through a distance L, you get a change of R2 minus R1. When you move through a distance X, what is the change? That is dr. Increase in the resistance when you move through a distance X is given by, what is the increase in the resistance when you move through a distance L? R2 minus R1, this one. So what I can do now? So the radius of this piece, what is the radius of this piece? Is this radius R1 plus dr, isn't it? Radius of this piece is R1 plus dr. What is R1 plus dr? R1 is this one, R1 itself. What is dr? This is R2 minus R1 divided by L into X. Now let us write the thermal resistance, because my final aim is to write the rate of flow of heat energy is the temperature difference divided by the total resistance, thermal resistance. Potential difference divided by electrical resistance. Here, temperature difference divided by thermal resistance. So if I want to find out the thermal resistance, dr, or thermal resistance of this piece, dr is equal to rho L by A. What is rho? 1 by L by K, or I can write L by K A. L is L, the length of this is dx, or I can write the formula first. dr is equal to, the general formula is L by K. This is general formula. What is the length of the piece that I have taken? Only dx, it is not full length, a piece. Only dx. What is K? K for any piece is K, because it is of the same material. Area of cross section, that is pi r square. That's why I have got ready with the radius. Pi r square is the area of cross section of this piece. If I want to write its thermal resistance, 1 by conductivity, its thickness, that is length, dx, and its area of cross section. So shall I write this as dx divided by k pi What is r squared? R squared is r1 plus r2 minus r1 by L into x whole square. Correct? Pi, the total radius of this one, how much it has increased, that's what we have written here, plus this r1. So that is the pi r squared. Now, if this the resistance, thermal resistance of only this much piece is only this much, not only this much, so much, then what is the resistance of the full piece? You have to integrate this, right? From where to where you have to integrate? Starting from radius r1, because of course it is from 0 to L, because we have taken such a piece of thickness dx from x equal to 0 you have to start such pieces, x equal to L you have to stop it. So the total resistance of the whole tapering rod, I am talking about thermal resistance, total thermal resistance of the whole tapering rod is equal to integration from x equal to 0 to x equal to L of this one dx divided by k pi r1 plus r2 minus r1 by L into x whole square. Now I'll rub this for the time being, okay, because one equation I will take it as it is, then rest of the things I'll rub. Here also this is not, okay, this is not needed, this also I'll rub. Okay, now I will take this term as some z, because it becomes easier. If you take this as z, let z is equal to r1 plus this term, r1 plus r2 minus r1 by L into x. If this is z, what is dz? dz is equal to constant 0 plus r2 minus r1 by L into dx, that is dz. Now you have to substitute for z, dx, sorry, not z, dx in terms of dz. How it will be? That implies dx is equal to, what is dx is equal to? This dz divided by r2 minus r1 by L, right? r2 minus dx equal to dz divided by r2 minus r1 into L. Now, if you take this as z, then this becomes z square. dx becomes dz divided by r2 minus 1L. It becomes a simple equation now. Now my question is whether these limits will remain the same? No. Because if this is taken as z, when x equal to 0, shall I write it here? When x equal to 0, z equal to, how much we will get for z? When x equal to 0, which is taken as z? Yeah, this one. When x equal to 0, then z equal to r1. Right? We get z equal to r1. When x equal to L, what you will get? When x equal to L, put x equal to L, L gets cancelled. r1 plus r2 minus r1, z equal to r2. When x equal to L, z equal to r2. So the upper and lower limits will get changed. So shall I substitute the value now? Shall I rub this? Shall I rub this? Okay, I will rub this one. Now what happens to the total thermal resistance? R is equal to integration from R1 to R2, isn't it? Right? When x equal to 0, z equal to R1. When x equal to L, z equal to R2. So 0 to L becomes R1 to R2. What about this one? 1 by k pi. That remains as it is. This is z square. 1 by k pi z square. And dx can be written as dz divided by R2 minus R1 by L. That is enough for me. I hope you have followed, right? So just by taking this as z and finding out what are the limits, and this becomes z square, then differentiating that z, then you can replace dx in terms of dz. That is what we did here. Of course, steps become a little longer. So instead of dx, dz divided by R2 minus R1 by L. Yes, now I can rub this, I can rub this. Not needed. Now I can continue this. I want the total resistance in order to substitute it here. rate of flow of heat, right? That is what is needed. Okay, R is equal to integration from R1 to R2. Okay, you can take constants outside. L is a constant. L comes to the numerator. L by K pi into R2 minus R1. L by K pi into R2 minus R1. Integration from R1 to R2 1 by Z square dz. That's all. This is the variable. So that implies thermal resistance equal to L by K pi into R2 minus R1 into, so this is Z to the power minus 1, correct? Z to the power minus 1 means minus 2 Z to the power, so Z to the power minus 2. Z to the power minus 2 integration is minus 2 Z to the power minus 1. Limits R1 and R2. So what is the answer? Minus, no, integration, right? No, this is not the answer. It is integration. This is Z to the power minus 2. Z to the power minus 2 plus 1 by minus 2 plus 1. That's how we have to integrate. Okay, integration limits R1 and R2. So what is this is equal to? That implies R is equal to thermal resistance L by K pi into R2 minus R1 into this is minus 1, this is Z to the power minus 1, minus 1 by Z, R1 to R2. Now put the limits. Shall I rub it again? Rubbing and writing. That's the only job now. Yeah. We will write that last step. Thermal resistance total is equal to L by K pi R2 minus R1 into minus, I will take it outside. Put the upper limit 1 by R2 minus lower limit 1 by R1. Put the minus sign inside. What you will get? Thermal resistance L by K pi R2 minus R1 into, if you put this here, 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. If I bring this minus sign here, now I can rub this also. Yes. So that implies thermal resistance is equal to, so you take the common denominator, this gets cancelled, right? L by K pi R2 minus R1 into R1 R2 R2 minus R1. So gets cancelled. Now that is equal to total thermal resistance is L by K pi R1 R2. But the question is, what is the coefficient of thermal conductivity? What is the rate of flow of heat? Rate of flow of heat is given by dq by dt is equal to the potential difference divided by thermal resistance. Here the temperature difference divided by thermal resistance. There it is electrical resistance, sorry. Theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by thermal resistance is L by K pi R1 R2. L by K pi R1 R2 theta 1 minus theta 2. Yes, that is the answer. So a little bit longer. JEE main. Some questions may be like this in JEE main. So you must go for integration and you have to get the answer. Maybe some problems may be tougher like this, but you don't be under the impression that all problems will be like this. So we will move on to the next questions later. Thanks for watching my class. It is getting late because it is getting darker and darker. I don't get enough light. So we will meet in the next class with some or few questions in thermal conductivity itself. Then we will go to the next part of the thermal properties. Thanks for watching my class. Take care of your health. Work out many problems. Prepare well for examinations. Thank you.